Hey guys, I wanted to talk about Adrullan Online Adventures Warrior ability so far as of January 8th, 2026. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of changes by the time I release this and the next test, as Warriors are getting a little bit of love in the patch notes. But as they stand right now, I feel like Warriors are in a pretty good place, and with the introduction of Rage mechanic coming in, which is a level 10 passive, and you gain stamina on hit, I could see us only getting better from here. But without further ado, Hemo is our best ability. That's Hemorrhage. You get this, I believe, at level 8 or 9. I forget exactly, but it's an ability that is your bread and butter. You're going to be using it in every fight multiple times a fight. You want to keep this up at all times as it's your most damage, and the more damage you do, the more threat you do. Damage is always king when it comes to threat per second. It's just how it is. You want to keep this up always. As soon as the debuff falls off, you want to reapply it. But sometimes dot timers are a little finicky or a little weird in this game and don't behave as most dot timers behave in other games. Meaning, I've had this thing tick at the very end and not tick at all at the end, and when I reapply it, it ticks instantly. But regardless, this is a 10 out of 10 priority ability. Keep this up at all times on your target if your endurance permits. Your next ability is True Strike. This ability is a filler between Hemo and when you have extra energy to jump, aka endurance. If you have to choose between applying another Hemo or True Striking, pick Hemo depending on the HP of the mob. So if you guys are burning the mob really quick, forego the Hemo, True Strike, get the mob down. If you're fighting dungeon mobs, or if, like what I'm fighting right here, the Shadowbone Revenants, they have a lot of HP. So you're going to want to keep up Hemo the whole time. A lot of value there. You're going to get full 10 seconds out of it. But True Strike is a great filler. With the introduction of Rage, I could see us using this a lot more, make the playstyle a little bit more fun and fluid. Just a good ability. Use it all the time. And the next important ability that you'll be using is your Taunt. Taunt costs no stamina, endurance, whatever you want to call it, and it actually allows you to regain some endurance. It's a great filler. Sometimes you will lose threat if your group is pumping. So just keep an eye on that. Use it as soon as you see your name not on target of target. Pull it off. Get it on you, especially with the Rage mechanic. You want to be getting hit. This is very important. This actually helps your energy, endurance, stamina tremendously. Because that's really the name of the game with Warrior, it feels like, is maintaining that yellow bar as much as you can. Shove got a buff recently, and I'm curious to see how this turns out. I believe the endurance was reduced as well as the initial threat. So this could be an ability, depending on how much endurance it costs, could be an ability you use all the time. Especially if your taunt's down. The main taunt you want to use is the one that costs none, and it's single target. Shove might be a good second. There's another taunt that I have bound to my 6 key, but I'm totally blanking on what it was, so I can't really comment on it. I think it might be like an oh shit button AoE taunt, but I don't remember. Branding Strike actually got some love, and that's another ability I want to talk about. This functions a lot like Sunder Armor in World of Warcraft. Reduces the defense of the mob, and that leads me to think that it reduces physical armor the physical armor attribute. So this could be really good in cleave comps when you're melee focused, melee heavy, and that's something that you'd want to keep up. I didn't see the value in it this time around. The previous test, Branding Strike was all we used because it was better than True Strike. It did the same amount of damage, it did more threat, and it cost less stamina while giving us the buff. That was a no-brainer. We smashed that button. That was our favorite button. We didn't use, or at least I didn't use it this much this time around in the previous patch. But with this change, it might change it up a little bit. Decreasing the cost. It's on a 30-second cooldown now, and the debuff lasts 30 seconds. So depending on your group's time to kill, if you guys are mowing through mobs, you might only be able to use this maybe once every 3-4 mobs. Just depending on the time to kill in your group. Like in a group like this, as you can see, we're pretty low level. I'm the only one that's kind of even con with these mobs. Everybody else is between level 12, 13. I think maybe we even had a level 11. And I was able to get a lot of value out of my hemos, and I was pretty much the main damage here. So I didn't Branding Strike. I just didn't see the value in it. Other ability I want to talk about is Sweeping Strikes. This ability works like Cleave from World of Warcraft. It's an ability that hits your target and all the nearest targets as well. And the nearest target as well. I think it's just one extra target. I didn't get to use this ability. It didn't work with two-handed weapons at the time. And I'm not dual wielding. I was using a two-handed scythe. So I can't really comment on the value of this ability. But maybe if you're running with an AoE comp, maybe caster AoE, and they have a lot of threat, you can be smashing that Sweeping Strikes on cooldown to help. Again, can't really tell you the priority on this, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that a question mark. Can't really speak on the ability. Actually, I can't because I never used it. Haste Shout. It's a great ability. It increases your haste, I believe, by 20 or 21%. Keep in mind, a lot of people overlook this, but your auto attacks are a good majority of your damage in MMOs. Anything that buffs the time between the attacks is very nice. It's very good. It helps out a lot, and it's going to help your damage tremendously. I think it's anywhere between 60 to 65% of your damage in most MMOs is your melee, especially in the old school MMOs. So very good. But if I have another haster, such as I have a paladin in this group, and he's giving me haste, I think his haste is something like 17. I don't really bother with keeping up my haste shout, as it costs a lot of endurance. It's just not something I don't value the extra 3% compared to the endurance, because endurance you don't get it back very quickly in this game. So managing that and maintaining that is a very crucial part, and keeping the group going, holding threat, and keeping the XP flowing. So I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10 priority, but if you have a haster, 0. Next ability is the Hamstring ability. Hamstring / slow the mob ability. This ability is, I pretty much use it when shit hits the fan. There's kind of two uses for it I see in my eyes. Is if we're wiping and I'm trying to hamstring mobs before I die and I can let everybody go. Try and get everybody out so I can get a res at a later time. Or if we're in a close corridor dungeon and I'm trying to prevent a mob from running and pulling extra. Then I'll use it. That's, of course, if somebody else doesn't already have a slow on the mob. I believe a lot of I think necromancers have a slow. Obviously, probably druids do too. Then I wouldn't use it. And say that's about a 3 out of 10 priority, but if the mob's running, that's a 10 out of 10 priority. Especially if you're about to wipe. Defensive cooldown. It seems like this ability is like a mixture between shield wall and deterrence from World of Warcraft. You take less damage and you parry more. The only downside of this ability is that it takes a lot of endurance, a lot of stamina, a lot of energy, whatever you want to call the yellow bar. I think this ability could highly benefit from being free of cost, but on a 7 to 10, and depending on how good it is later on down the road, or if they buff it, 15, maybe 30, possibly an hour cooldown. This seems like a really big oh shit button, but right now as it stands, it takes a lot of energy for almost no benefit. There's many times I've used it. I can recall in my head maybe 3 or 4 times that I used it. I died anyways, and I wish I had just smashed True Strike while Hemo was up on the mob to try and help as much as I can before I inevitably die. So I'm going to say that's a 1 out of 10 priority right now. I don't think it's that good of an ability. I think it can use a little bit of love, but I'm not going to complain. I'm glad that we have something. It's cool. I love what the devs are doing. And an ability I've never used as well as sweeping strikes is Shield Bash. I believe it's called Shield Bash. You need a sword and board for it. You need sword and shield. And I have not used it, so I don't know the threat output of it yet. And I don't know the value of it, so I can't comment on it. But I can say for certain from the groups that I've been in and just looking at healers' manas that I haven't really needed to wear a sword and shield yet. Granted, we're only level 17, 18, so and we're not killing, I guess, really high level mobs. So maybe I have skewed perspective on this. But I'm going to say just two-hand tank, do damage, especially with Rage being introduced to the game. Kick ass with that and just go from there. I want to talk about the patch notes. Warrior got a new passive skill, level 10, called Rage. Taking damage restores stamina. That's huge. That is massive. That could change the whole playstyle of a warrior. There could be way more true strikes being weaved in between your hemo durations. That could make for a really fun gameplay. A lot more damage, a lot more threat per second. Just looking good all across the board. Shove. Reduce the stamina cost, longer forced aggro duration, cooldown increased to 20. Depending on the stamina cost, I still think Shove is second to Taunt, given that it costs stamina. But this could be really good. I almost never used Shove before. I just didn't see any value in it. I didn't think it was good. And Branding Strike. Significantly increased aggro. Cooldown increased to 30 seconds. Debuff duration increased to 30 seconds. This is huge. Like I said earlier, I think the time to kill will depend on how much you use this. If you're mowing through mobs anyway, you may not use this, and depending on the stamina it costs. Now, if it's damn near free, yeah, use it on cooldown. Why not? You have nothing to lose. But if it still costs a good amount of stamina, that's something that you need to look at. And it doesn't seem like it changed in stamina, but so I'm gonna go ahead and write this off. You may want to, depending, hemo Branding Strike now. And then you may not even need to True Strike, but you may be losing damage. So it's something that you may want to look at right there. And hemo True Strike might be more value to your group in killing the mob as fast as you can. I'll have to play with this next patch, or next test. Hemorrhage, reduced stamina cost. That's just a buff. That's just straight up a huge fucking buff. That's massive. They didn't take away the damage at all. Just said, hey, we're gonna make it cost less. That's great. Cost less. Yeah. Can't really talk too much about that because that's straightforward. That's just good. And then small bump to hit points and defense stat. That's a no-brainer. That's just a buff too. That's awesome. I really think the big one is Rage. They did update it. Rage gives slightly less stamina per hit. This lasted about maybe 18 hours before they changed it. So we will have to see. And something from Hidden Tree apparently was mega OP. Still might be. Who knows? We'll have to get in there and test it, baby. But I think we're looking good as Warriors. This is pretty cool. I can't wait to try the next test out, see where the game stands. I think they're only doing better and better things every time. The game is really fun. Like I said before, it's an MMO. You grind, you play with your buddies, you meet new people, and you kill some mobs, get some loot. I mean, pretty straightforward, pretty fun fucking game. Thank you.